Hey, how's everyone doing okay today? Hey, I want to start with, Sam Pittman, I know we just heard on the way up here, tested positive for COVID. So prayers are with him and his family. Obviously, I think I hope he has, having someone gone through it, I hope he has minor symptoms, kind of like I had, and really, wasn't as a tough ordeal. I know a lot of people have had tough time dealing with it. I mean, and then obviously the seriousness of it for a lot of other people and families out there. So our prayers with him, and I hope he recovers quickly. But what do you guys got?
Pat, you want to lead off?
Yeah. Hey, Dan. Obviously, is it as simple with Kyle Pitts as that he has to go through concussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll do that. You know what I do? Because like when we get in games now, if there are injuries in the game, I don't mind giving you guys injury reports because then I'm not disclosing medical issues. So Kyle will be questionable this week, concussion. So he'll be questionable for the game this week. I think Jeremiah Moon went out with a foot injury. I think he'll be doubtful for us to play this week. And then Stuart Reese will be questionable as well. He had a shoulder issue. But so Stu and Kyle will be questionable, and I think Moon will be doubtful for this week's game on the injury side of things, coming out of the last week's game.
Also, I crunched some numbers. You guys are averaging 39 yards and penalties a game, which would be 11th of anybody who's played 4 games or more in the nation. I mean, that is unusual for a Florida team to be that low in penalties. And
okay,
how much do you think it's because of the quarterback you have? How much do you think it's you guys have just been more disciplined?
Yeah, 39 seems like a lot to me. So I don't know. I guess. It's hard for me to jump up and say that we have 40 yards of penalties a game, and that's a good thing. So I think it's just our guys' attention to detail. We have some veteran guys, and we talk about all the time with being attention to detail on the field. I think that's really an important thing in how we focus on within our preparation of the game.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Edgar.
Yeah, Dan. So what are you seeing from Felipe? I mean, he's really efficient right now.
Yeah. Well, I think Felipe's a great quarterback. So we had him for quite a long time. So I'm seeing what you see out of him. A guy that has a high touchdown to interception ratio, really strong arm. He's a veteran player now, played in the league, so the games and moments aren't too much for him. I know he's playing a kind of a newer offense to learn, but when you're an older veteran guy, I think you understand concepts, you understand coverages, you understand what's going on out there on the field, and he's picked it up really fast. And I think he's having a great year, and but I wouldn't have expected anything less than that from him. And the Felipe I know.
Yeah, that change of scenery's worked out well, which you kind of mentioned. So you've mentioned this before. You use this kind of, hey, Kyle Trask is playing great. We'll go throw 3 interceptions, and people will be telling me how you're not playing great.
Yeah.
What's the message to the team? They're coming off this emotional high, a great program win. What's the message?
Well, I think that the whole message we talked about this morning was if we, we've put ourselves in a good position at the halfway point in the season. We still control our own destiny of what we can do and what we want to accomplish this year. But any great team is going to get better from one week to the next. And so if we don't come out and have a better practice today than we did last Monday preparing for Georgia, if we don't come out and play harder than we did against Georgia, if we don't come out and we're not more efficient in executing at a higher level on offense, and if we don't have 11 guys running the ball and tackle and make sure we're sound and limit our mistakes, then we shouldn't expect to win. And if you want to be a great team, great teams get better every single week. Great teams don't peak at the midpoint of the season. Great teams peak in early mid-December and then early mid-January. Those are your peak moments, and as teams. And for us, that's got to be our goal and our focus this week. Is if we don't improve, then last week was really irrelevant if we don't improve and get better this week.
Thanks, Dan.
Mark Long.
Yeah, Dan, a couple. First one, what do you have to do to get other tight ends ready this week? I mean, obviously those guys clashed a little bit, and what would losing Kyle potentially do to your playbook or your play calling?
Well, I think, I mean, if you look last week, we've always kind of had guys with the next man up mentality. And, those guys, I mean, Kyle's a great player. They know it. And we feature him. But, I think you look, he goes out and Kamare has a great game. Zip has a catch and a long run afterwards. They did a great job blocking, and they executed really well out there on the field. So to me, those guys just got to come up and we're going to run our offense, and it's their opportunity to go make plays, their opportunity to go show what they can do out there on the field. So, that's every year you have to have that next man up mentality, and this year is probably even bigger because there's you're adding in with all the different things that are happening and how crazy a year it's been. Excuse me. There's even more chance for the next man up mentality. Or opportunity, even not the mentality, the opportunity.
And then when you look at what Sam Pittman's done at Arkansas, do you have an appreciation for that, given what you did at Bowling Green, Utah, here twice, and even Mississippi State?
Absolutely. I thought, one of the things you go in and he went into a program he obviously knows how to win. And it's a fun challenge. You go into a program and he's got them, playing hard, believing they have some really good defensive guys. They play to the strength of their secondary, and they're one of the top interception teams in the nation. They're physical, good tacklers. Linebackers are two excellent players, excellent football players. And then they have disruptive defensive linemen up front on the defensive side of the ball. They fit the offense in. I know they're going to run the ball well, and obviously Felipe's running the offense pretty well on the other side of the ball. And so I think he's came in. He's done a great job of putting the guys in position to do what they do well, and he's done and also the great job. One of the key is creating a winning mindset. And if you see this year, I mean, they play with that winning mindset, and and have been really successful.
Matt Baker.
Hey, Dan, obviously you guys still have a lot of season left, but where Kyle Trask has been so far, where does that rank among the quarterback performances over multiple games that you've seen? He's playing at an extremely high level.
He's playing pretty well through 5 games. I mean, if we play a 5-game season, he would rank really high. The fact that we play a longer season, I don't know where he ranks. But if they came out today and canceled the rest of the season, I would say he played a really good season this year. But let's hope they don't do that, and let's hope he continues. So at the end of the year, then we can rank and say, hey, you know what? He did have a really, really great year from start to finish.
Yeah, let's hope. And then one thing on Pittman, given the fact that he's probably not going to be on there, how much do you look at Barry Odom as a head coach in terms of your game prep, or not at all?
Well, I think this. I think, I've known Barry, and Barry obviously has been a head coach in this league, understands the league. And I don't know if it's been confirmed. I just heard on the way up. Could be a false positive. I know one of the other coaches in the league had a false positive earlier. So, you just hope he's well. But you know what? I mean, Barry's going to come. He's been a head coach in this league. I know Barry really well. Good coach, good motivator, tough guy. The guys he's going to have, he's not going to walk in on a stage that is going to feel awkward or different for him. And I can guarantee you, and know Barry as a professional also is going to, the message that Sam gives, I mean, they're not going to change the personality they've had as a team if Barry's out there, just having to manage the game as if he's the, I don't know if they've named him the, he's going to be acting as head coach for the game. But if he is, they're not going to change kind of the mindset that Sam's already created there and what the program's about.
Yeah, they've named him the interim.
I got you.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Buddy.
Hi, Dan. Just a question about keeping focus, which you've done really well this year, keeping your team focused on the task at hand. You beat Georgia, which has caused a celebration at least for 24 hours. How do you maintain that, celebrate that, acknowledge it, and move on to what's next?
Yeah, well, it was only about 16, maybe less than that even. Well, I don't know what time the game ended. By the time I got home, it was probably closer to a celebration of 8 hours. And then you're just on to the next game. Like I said, I mean, that's I think for coaches is a little bit easier. I mean, we're sitting there getting the game plan organized and trying to get prepared to go play an excellent Arkansas team. But also for our players, I think, they have to understand. I mean, we didn't come into the season and our goal on the season was to just beat Georgia. That wasn't like hey, what do you guys want to accomplish this year? And that wasn't part of it. I think our guys wanted to be in a position to compete for a championship. And we're still in that position, but there's a lot of work to do if we want to make that happen. So, that's been the focus and that's the discussion. And if we don't get better, it's not going to happen. So we have got to get back to work and improve.
Though you like to celebrate, you had a little jump in the stands, which was, you said, fun, which is, I think.
Aren't we allowed to? We're allowed to have fun sometimes, I mean, like it's it's like we've become a no fun year, but.
Well, anyway, the bottom line being that you guys have met one of your goals. As you say, you have to focus on the rest of the goals. The mindset of the fans now is probably more celebratory than what you guys are doing. Do you sense that people are really excited about beating Georgia and moving on?
Well, let's hope that it's that the fans are excited and that we however many fans are allowed in the swamp, come to the swamp and create a great atmosphere, right? That whatever, as many, whatever that number is, that they come and support their team and create energy, excitement, and noise within the stadium, have a great time, and come watch this team play. I hope that's the response of our fan base.
Good answer. Thank you.
I didn't use the word pack this time, so. But I use, we want as many that can come to come.
Andrea, go ahead.
Dan, I want to stick on the topic of fun for a second. When you were introduced as a head coach, you said you wanted to bring fun back to Florida football. Do you feel like what you guys have done, particularly offensively this year, is what you envisioned when you said that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, winning's fun, and I think our job is to find there's different ways that you win football games. I think for the Gator Nation, obviously, I saw Coach Spurrier on the, as he was walking in as I was coming up here right now, and so he's set the bar of fun is not just winning, but also scoring a lot of points for the fan base. So we're trying to make sure that it's not just fun for us; it's fun for the whole Gator Nation, and so I guess that way we're living up to it a little bit.
So you said, Kyle, obviously, if the season were to end, he'd had a great season. Now that we're kind of going into the second half here, where can he be better? Where is the potential of what you guys can accomplish the rest of the way?
Well, I think obviously, you got a huge challenge this week. You have, I think, the one of the best pass defenses in the Southeastern Conference coming in here in Arkansas. So I think, continuing to manage, continue his decision-making, accuracy. I do think one of the things that he has done a really good job of for the almost most of the time is he takes what the defense gives you. I know you look at that game and you say, okay, well, our running backs had 39 touches for 300 yards against Georgia. And, I think most people would have looked and said, hey, if the running backs are going to dominate this game, that it would be the other way around. It wouldn't be our running backs dominating the game. And putting up those numbers. But those were the matchups. And I think one of the things Kyle does a great job of, he's not going to force the ball to somebody. If you want to go take somebody away, it's okay. He'll just go on to the next matchup. And he needs to continue to do that. And for the most part, he did. He missed a couple of reads on Saturday. I'm pretty critical. I like to be exact. I want us to be, not 85 or 90%. I want us to be 100% detailed and exact in what we're doing. And so I think he's going to, I know he's the same way. So he's going to look at some of those. Okay, I understand. I missed that one. I want to be exact in what I'm doing and just in making great decisions and taking what the defense is going to give us.
Brendan.
Keep looking this way, not that way.
Hi, Dan. So it's been kind of a recurring trend this year to have a strong first half offensively and then sort of a weak second half. Why do you think that is, and what are you guys doing to fix that?
But I think a lot is just how the game's going and how we manage the game and how every game plays out very differently. And, and then a lot of it has to do with certain in-game strategies and what you're trying to accomplish. So I wouldn't say we're playing bad in the second half at all this season. I say just, we're playing to what our second half strategy to the game is.
Can you go into that second half strategy at all?
Sure. Tell me a game situation, and I'll tell you what the strategy was.
Well, I mean, just, you guys are outscored in the second half, I think, 7-6 this past weekend. So what was the strategy there?
We're up by huge numbers, and we were going to control the clock and control the tempo of the game.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Cassidy.
Hey, Dan.
Hey.
I know you went through this a little bit in 2009 when Timmy and Florida came to Mississippi State, but you and Felipe went through a lot together, kind of, reestablishing the culture here. He really helped with that. I know you and Megan were really involved with his recovery. What will it be like just to look across the field on Saturday and see him over there?
Well, I think, obviously it's tough, but as competitors, I mean, that's what you love to compete. And I know Felipe's a great competitor. So, he wants to come in here and, beat my butt, beat everybody on the team's butt. That's what competitors want to do. And he's a competitor, so he's going to want to do it. And, but it's not going to change the relationships or how you feel about each other. When you're out there on the field, you just, you get that competitive edge to you that you want to, you want to win. And he's that type of deal. So, I'm happy for him because, the whole thing came down to, I want to make sure I'm on the field playing next year. And here he is having a great season, and that's what you want. So I'm really happy for him. I'm happy in how it's working out for him. But I know, I want to go compete. I want to beat his butt on Saturday. That's what we want to do. That's what competitors do.
Trey told us Saturday night, that's still his boy. They talk a lot most days. Have you kind of sensed that from the guys this week, that this one, obviously you want to win, you want to go in and execute your game plan, but this one, at least before and after the game, will be a little bit different?
Yeah, I think they'll have fun with it. I think, but you see that. I think there's certain deals and the guys know each other. I mean, every game that you play, there's guys that with friends that you're playing against or guys you competed against or guys but this one's probably different because it's a guy that was your teammate for quite a long time. So I think this one's probably a little bit different. And, I think it'll be a huge motivation for him and for their team to get his back to try to help him win, and then motivation for our guys to want to go compete and beat one of their friends.
Just last one real quick for me on that. When you look at what would you say was Felipe Frank's legacy at Florida during your time with him here?
Well, I think he, came in and I think before we got here and everything I understood, he had a rough go of it with the fan base, with everything going on. He came in and took a 4-win team and led him to a New Year's Six Bowl victory and a top 10 finish. And he helped the turnaround of the program to make that happen, and so I think, it's a foundation of a guy that came in and took a bad situation and turned it into a really good one and helped build the foundation to put Florida back where everyone expects Florida to be as a top 10 national program.
Thanks, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Goldie.
Hey, Dan, I'm curious with you guys not really having any rescheduled dates left at this point, at least any obvious ones, and now Sam being potentially positive and the potential for a bigger outbreak at Arkansas. You've also got a tropical storm out there this weekend. Have there been any conversations about potential contingencies this week?
No, not at all. You certainly hope for Arkansas that they're able to get through it, and that's just kind of how the year is right now. So, hopefully it's a very isolated deal for them and for their team. We went through it as a really hard deal for the team with everything going on. Hopefully they're able to get through it. If not, and we got to try to jumble some things around, I'm sure they'll let us know here pretty quickly, and, we'll go out and play whoever we have to play.
Zach Laverde.
Hey, Dan, I had 2 questions for you, but before I get to them, can you just mention how it was running to Coach Spurrier this morning? Did he have anything to say about that big win?
He was excited. He was fired up. He So, I mean, like you said, he said, hey, that's your first time winning? I said, here at Florida, we had a win over Georgia at Mississippi State, but first time winning that game here as Florida head coach. So he thought that was cause for a little celebration. So, I know he was fired up for us.
For sure. And then obviously you and your staff, you guys recruit regularly around the clock. Was it a little bit different this weekend, hitting up some of the guys coming off that big win?
It's always better than going the other way. I think just the excitement. You're hitting up your guys that are committed to come play for you, and they're fired up. They can't wait to be a part of it. With the program's headed, the direction the program's headed. Guys that aren't committed, and all these other guys you're recruiting are excited about what the future of the program looks like that way. So. I think there is certainly positive momentum around the program.
And then lastly, I wanted you to just take a minute to talk about Kamari Gamble. You mentioned last year about Kyle Trask and his story of kind of sticking it out here, waiting his opportunity. With Kamari, he come in and redshirt, and then you guys brought in Kyle, and clearly, a special talent. He was the guy. Maybe some guys would have left or transferred or maybe not handled that well. How did Kamari deal with that, and then obviously keep himself ready to step in for his opportunity?
Well, I think he's done a great job because he's worked to continue to develop within the program, and I think anybody that knows, I mean, even as a player, you see Kyle Pitts, and this guy's a special talent, but. What I always tell players, you don't have to be like him. You just have to be the best you can be. And if you're focused on your development and working for you to be the best you can be, you're going to be ready for your moment. And and he's done a great job. I mean, I don't know a year ago that he could have stepped in and performed the way that he performed on Saturday. But here it is a year later, and you could sit there and say, hey, boy, I got this guy in front of me. I'm not playing tons, or I'm not putting up big numbers. But again, like a Kyle Trask did, he saw that and he said, okay, I'm going to continue to prepare for when my moment is called. And when his number was called, he was ready to go in. And I think, he comes in like right after Kyle gets hurt and scores a touchdown. And so I think that's such a huge deal. For him, and it certainly be a confidence builder for him moving forward.
Thanks, Dan.
Nick.
Hey, Coach. Do you think your team is developed or is developing kind of, that killer instinct to finish teams off?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we got to keep going. I mean, we've I think we haven't been in those kind of many crunch time games down at the end, so we got to see. I think our team's done a really good job of knowing how to win and putting ourselves in a position to win. The one that we didn't find a way to do. We had an opportunity in a game at Texas A&M, and you're talking about a one possession game where they had the one possession more than we did, and. We just weren't efficient enough and didn't get the stop and not efficient enough offensively to finish the game that way. But I do think the team certainly has built the confidence and understanding of that there is confidence within the team about the defense. There is confidence within the team about the offense. There is confidence within the team about our specialists. I still think we have to get better special teams wise. When I talk about special teams, I talk about all 11 guys on the field on a special teams play. I think there's some improvement we need to do. We need some guys to step up there and continue to do that and improve that way. But I think they're certainly building that confidence within the team to count on each other to win.
And then Felipe said he still talks to the guys. I know you talked about that before, but do you still talk to him? When was the last time you talked to Felipe?
Yeah, I talked to him a week or two ago. He was texting me. I think he texts Megan more than me even, but I would too. She usually when people are getting texts from me, it's because something did something wrong or there's a problem or there's an issue. So I think, Felipe's a guy that went through a lot while he was here, knows that we cared about him, knows that we believed in him, and everyone in our family. I think, even, like Megan said, he was one of the first ones to send her a Happy Mother's Day text last year. So I think, when you have that, we do, and you always have that great relationship with all your former players.
Megan doesn't yell at him for interceptions and misses.
No, that's why I don't think everybody always Kyle Trask after the game, everyone's like, boy, you threw for 474 yards. I'm like, but you did miss the read on this play. That's my first comment is, I try to make him reminds me, I'm like, hey, great job. You did miss the read on that play. I try to start with great job first now, but, I don't know. I'm just always kind of trying to coach and get everybody better all the time. And so but I have worked on trying to make sure I'm always being very encouraging first before I get into how we're going to coach and get better.
Alan.
Hey, Dan, looking at the 40-plus snaps that you got out of Josh Braun on Saturday, sort of your reaction to how he stepped in?
Well, I think it was huge. He came in and he's a guy that's taken advantage of some opportunity this year due to some injuries and some other things, of preparing himself the right way. I saw his. I did see his dad after the game. I hit him. I'm like, hey, did you get nervous? He goes, well, I really wasn't until my wife hit me and said, hey, he's in right now. And I did get a little nervous at that point. But no, he's a very intelligent guy. Came in with a great work ethic. Has taken advantage of the opportunity of being out there on the field in practice. And when his number was called, he was ready to go step in the game and play.
That's a position where I guess if you enroll early, maybe you can make up some ground strength-wise, but especially with the offseason challenges you guys face for a lineman to step in and play like that is a little bit unusual, right?
I do. I think that's one of the hardest positions to come in and play right away as a freshman. I think that obviously, offensive line, quarterback are probably two of the hardest positions to come in and play right away as a true freshman. And to me, honestly, offensive line being the hardest. Of the speed of the game, the adjustment of the checks, of everything that's happening out there on the field. You're trying to, a lot of these guys are big guys that are still growing into their body and their development. And even for Josh, who did enroll early but didn't get a spring ball, he's done a really good job of being prepared and ready to go play.
Thank you, Ben. We have time for one each from Zach Goodall and then close with Christian.
Hey, Coach, I tallied it up, and maybe I'm incorrect, but I believe you guys threw 8 wheel routes for 217 yards, one of them being when Gamble had the one-handed catch that looked like it was going to Naquan. Earlier in the year, Jordan Rogers had also pointed out, I think, the 10 plays against Ole Miss that you were able to call back or throughout the game.
Yeah.
With that being said, how important is it to be able to, even against the SEC's arguable best defense, to call a play so many times successfully? And with that, maybe besides the wheel route, do you have a favorite route combo or route that you just
No, I don't know if there's one. I think one of the things the offensive coaches would try to get into is how can we attack the defense that we're playing? How do we create the matchups that are in our advantage? And how do we go take advantage of them? And every defense you're going to play is a little bit different. And every matchup you're going to play is a little bit different. And so I think and as a Jordan, it'd be cool. I think I did see that breakdown he did earlier. Someone showed it to me. I watched it. I thought I think Jordan Rogers does an awesome job, and breaks down football for people, to go watch and see and explain how we're doing things. I think if you watch that, I don't know that we ever ran it out of the same formation. I don't think we ever ran the same play out of the same formation twice. You're always going to do it. Now, how you get people there is going to be very different, the different ways. But ours is, we're very conceptually based offense. So you have this conception, and now there might be 10 to 15 different ways that we're going to run this concept within the course of a game to attack it because we feel that's going to create an advantageous matchup for us. And the wheel route was something that was an advantageous matchup for us on Saturday, and we created a bunch of different ways to do it, and we're able to execute it. So it'd be cool if Jordan does that again this week. I think he does a really good job of that. So hopefully he gets another little break. I don't want him to give away all our secrets all the time, to be honest with you, but I do think he does a really good job of it, and it'd be really interesting to see him break that down for everybody to see.
Shot in the dark here. If I could have access to the All-22, I'd love to do it for him.
We'll see. I'll think about it. I'm not going to break it down and put it out there for everybody because, I don't want to give away
Yeah,
that
of
information.
course.
So,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah,
That answered the next one, so you're good, Coach.
I'm good. Awesome. All right, everybody have a great week. Go Gators.